I truly am so impressed by the Los Angeles Lakers to start this season. It's been a while since beating the Spurs was an impressive win, but beating the Spurs in San Antonio tonight was a win that I was truly impressed by. I thought the Spurs played pretty well. I think they're a really good team. I mean, obviously Wemby is incredible. I made a video on him a couple days ago, but Stephon Castle had the best game of his career. Their bench pieces, guys like Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, were contributors. And I love the Spurs vets. Like, I thought that this was a tough Spurs team tonight. I was very impressed by how good the Spurs looked, and the Lakers went on the road and got a win without Rui Hachimura, obviously without all the other guys who have been injured. And I really like the way that this roster is shaping up. And I think, I mean, I made a video on the Lakers a couple weeks ago, basically talking about how this is the same team with different results. And I think in large part that is due to coaching. And I will continue to reiterate the things that I said the last couple weeks. I think JJ Redick has been a huge part of the shift of this team. But I am very impressed by the resiliency of this team and by the versatility of this team. They honestly impressed me defensively tonight as well. And I think there's more to this team than meets the eye, and more things that have changed from last year that make this team even more impressive. So with that being said, before we hop in it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trying to push towards the 1,000 subscriber mark on this channel, get it monetized. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe if you're new to the channel. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So this was the Lakers' 4th win in a row after losing 4 out of 5 after they started the season 3-0. And I honestly love the resiliency that this team has shown recently. Now, I would say beating the Grizzlies without Ja, Raptors with all their injuries, and the Sixers without Embiid are not like the most impressive wins in the world, but tonight's win was impressive, and their ability to get the job done in all of these games and now make their record all the way up to 8-4 has been very, very impressive. And honestly, I mean, look, it wasn't LeBron's night offensively tonight. He wasn't really amazing offensively, and yet he had, for the first time in his career, his 4th consecutive triple-double, having 15, 16, and 12 on still relatively decent efficiency. Like, it's not like LeBron had a bad game. His ability to play whatever role JJ Redick and the Lakers need from him on any given night is just so impressive. But we'll talk more about LeBron in a little bit. The first player who you have to talk about is Anthony Davis. Plain and simple. His ability to, number one, just be the focal point and be the hub of the offense like JJ Redick said he was going to be. And his ability to do that so far this season has been so impressive. I mean, he's averaging over 30 a game, 11 rebounds a game. First Laker since Shaq to, in his first 11 games of the season, score at least 20 points in each game. And a remarkable performance tonight against Wembanyama with 40 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He's also shooting 40+% from the 3-point line to start the season, which is not something that I really expect to continue. But I believe it was Ryan Ruocco tonight on the broadcast made an interesting point that he thinks that it might have been Richard Jefferson, but either way, the comment was that they think that that AD's shooting has been better this season because he's in more of a rhythm offensively, because he's touching the ball with more consistency. And I can see some truth to that. I think AD looks comfortable shooting the ball from 3, and it's not like he's shooting 7 or 8 threes a game, and he shouldn't be. But his confidence and willingness to shoot the 3 when it is open, and his ability to knock down 2 big ones in the 4th quarter tonight was a huge, huge part of this team's ability and resiliency to win this game. And I think he is now the focal point of this team, as great as LeBron is. And I mean, LeBron is still a borderline top 10 player in this league. The things he is doing at the age of basically 40 at this point have never been seen before and likely will never be seen again. He is truly a remarkably special player in so many ways. But Anthony Davis is the best player on this Lakers roster. On a night-to-night basis, he is. LeBron will have moments in games and will have even entire full games relatively often where he is still the best player on the court. But as a whole, if you're looking at this Lakers team, the focal point is AD, and he is the best player on the roster. And if he can stay healthy with LeBron playing whatever role they need him to play on a night-to-night basis, those 2 guys in of themselves make this team very scary. But the thing that I really like about this Lakers roster that I can't say I liked as much last season, and yes, I think a lot of people would agree that the bench feels scary depth-wise, but I'm starting to like the depth of this team. I mean, when you think about a healthy Rui Hachimura, who didn't play tonight, obviously a big piece to this team. Austin Reeves has been awesome this season. One of the more efficient starts to a season of any player around the league to start the year with his true shooting before the last couple games, to be fair. He started off the season super efficiently. Last couple games haven't been quite as great, but he started off the season still really, really well, averaging almost 19 a game on good efficiency, having himself a great year and able to play that point guard-esque role when the Lakers need him to. And I like bringing D'Lo off the bench. I really do. I think D'Lo is in more of a role off the bench where he can at times be a little bit more of the focal point offensively when he's in the game. He's still playing pretty big minutes, but his minutes are a little bit more staggered, and I feel like it helps the Lakers defensively as well. Although I will say he's shown a little bit of a rejuvenated level of effort on the defensive end of the court these last couple of games as well, which has been something that I've been pleased with. I think obviously JJ was really frustrated with him after the Memphis game they lost like earlier. I guess that was last week or maybe even a week and a half ago at this point. Since then, I think D'Lo coming off the bench has shown a rejuvenated level of effort defensively and has been pretty locked in on both ends of the court. And I think has played pretty well as of late. And this level of production from D'Lo in 20, 25, 30 minutes a game is really, really valuable for the Lakers. And I think him coming off the bench stabilizes that bench unit a little bit, gives them a little bit more scoring and a little bit more offensive firepower to rely on. It was nice to see Gabe Vincent make a couple of jump shots tonight. He has struggled a lot offensively this season after barely playing last season, but I do think Gabe Vincent can be a decent contributor to this squad as well if he can stay healthy and start to knock down some shots. I mean, he was a massive part of the Heat making a run to the finals a couple years ago, and yes, it's been rough so far, but things can change. Max Christie had his best game of the season tonight. 100% thought he was very impactful on both ends of the court, getting a big offensive rebound in the first half, knocking down a couple of shots, playing with some confidence offensively. He was a team leading plus 23 in 30 minutes tonight as well. Played a lot and played a very big, very effective role on this team. This is the Max Christie that the Lakers thought they were going to get this season. This is the jump that before the season Lakers fans thought that Max Christie was going to make. And it's a big, big deal to see this level of progress from Max Christie, because if this is the player that he is, instead of the player who massively struggled to start the year and was out of the rotation the last few games because of it, if he is more of this player and less of that player, that helps this Lakers bench significantly because he is a very good defender. And as long as he can be capable offensively and play smart and play well, he will be a big contributor. I actually like Jackson Hayes a lot as a rim running big as well. I know he didn't play tonight. He's been out for injury recently. Now there are other question marks with Jackson Hayes off the court that I think are serious concerns when it comes to his character. But I will say as a player, he is a good player for this Lakers team. And I think as their backup big, he's a talented player. Now, I'm seriously concerned about the off the court stuff for Jackson Hayes. Doesn't look like that's going to impact his playing time or any sort of suspension or anything like that, but I cannot condone whatsoever the person that he seems to be. But I do think as a backup big, as a player, he can be a valuable contributor and honestly has looked pretty good in the minutes he's played this season. And then I have not mentioned the number one biggest X factor dark horse for this Lakers team, in my opinion, and that is Knecht for Dalton Knecht, who I truly believe will, by the end of the season, wind up in the Lakers closing five more often than not. He did not close the game tonight, and I think the reason he didn't close the game was mostly because of the defensive end of the court. His defense can certainly still stand to improve from where it is right now, and I do believe that it will continue to. But there are a few shooters in the league already that are more confident and seem more comfortable catching and shooting from a variety of arm angles, variety of positions, regardless of where his feet are set and how his feet are set. His fundamentals are incredible as a shooter, and I truly believe he is already one of the league's elite shooters and is going to be one of those guys who's going to be a massive impact player for this Lakers team for a long time. And it would not shock me at all to see their Lakers closing lineup in games this season be something along the lines of LeBron, AD, and Reeves, of course, but then Knecht for and a fifth guy, whether that be a Rui Hachimura or somebody else for more of a defensive purpose, such as maybe if Max Christie can continue to play well, Christie winds up being a contributor. And I truly believe Knecht's minutes are going to continue to rise, and he is going to be a massive, massive piece and a massive X factor to this Lakers team if they plan to make a run in the playoffs. I was impressed by them defensively. I thought they played with a lot of effort. I thought they played with a lot of cohesiveness, at the exception to the start of the first half and the start of the second half. The rest of the game, they seemed pretty locked in on the defensive end of the court. And this is the type of Lakers team that is going to be a tough out for anybody in the Western Conference. And yes, they've lost to the Nuggets the last couple of years, but they made the conference finals 2 years ago with a very similar roster to the one they have this year. They, despite losing in 5 to the Nuggets last year, made that a competitive, close series. I mean, every game is competitive. And look, I don't think they're better than the Thunder. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but I do think they can give anybody in the West a tough series, and I would not be shocked to see the Lakers wind up in a position, especially if they can keep winning games. If they can find their way into a top 4 seed, this is going to be a tough out for teams, and a team that has the chance to try to make another run at it. And I mean, Father Time is just, it catches up with everybody eventually, but somehow it hasn't caught up to Bron yet. And with him playing at the level he's playing, AD playing at a legitimate MVP caliber to start the season, and JJ Redick doing an incredible job coaching, plus depth that looks better now than it did a couple weeks ago. I'm liking the looks of this Lakers team. I really am. We'll have to see how the season progresses, but I have been impressed with what I have seen so far. And I thought tonight's win, despite going up against a team that a lot of people probably don't consider really good, was a really good win. I was very impressed by their ability to get that job done on the road against a very, very good Wembanyama. And overall, I just think a very good San Antonio Spurs roster. So, I mean, their roster's not amazing, but with Wemby at the helm and I think improvements as a team, I was impressed with what I've seen. I really was. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.